So to me, it's not enough to say Mercury is, you got to see the alertness. You're trying to see how someone functions, alerts, how quick they are, how much they're making sense out of things, how alert they are. Well, a lot of times someone make a quick association, they say a joke and nobody else gets it because they're not alert to what they're saying. Or they've got their own processes going on. Oh. So sometimes we can be making too many associations and lose the depth or lose the reality of it. We're just spinning things in. I'm coming from here, so I'm going from there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And we're thinking we're going along. What we're going to do today. What we're going to do tomorrow. What we're going to do. We got this all going around, and we never stop to listen to what anybody else is going to do. Well, so some people have their alert function on project what I'm thinking about. Some people have it so that they're not necessarily projecting, but they're alert and listening and taking in things. But still, as long as you're thinking and making sense of things, it's less than being exactly alert. Ready to think, like someone's coming by, oh, someone's going over here. Well, oh, they're going to be like this. We have a gym. Oh, they're always going to be like this. Oh, it's this or that. We have these mental associations that we've made, and then they come up and we impose on the moment. But really, it's hard to know if someone comes up to you, what they're really going to say or what's not. It depends how wound up we are. So for good communications, both people have to be alert and able to talk and able to listen to each other, not always necessarily interrupt each other or whatever. So it's there in talking. How alert are you when you're driving? Would you drive when you're falling asleep? Have you fallen asleep when you're driving? How far did you get? Did you wake up in time? If you didn't, you wouldn't be here. So, but our identity gets very tied up to our memories and our thinking. It becomes part of half our security and half of our intelligence and making sense where we're coming, where we're going from. It's a primary function. Everybody has it. But boy, if you come out of a home where you've been abused or there's battered or there's really difficult things going on, you got bad memories or difficult memories, it's hard to have positive mental associations. So if you don't think what's happening now is going to go towards the good or be good for you, you're going to start thinking it's not. And the thinking it's not, it's just thoughts, but it really can impinge on our behavior moon, on our ideas and what we're going to do with life. It can really tear a hole in our confidence. Now, so we've worked with the moon. I'm seeing how the moon, we're working on the pulse of each planet affects each other as they develop, but at the same time, everybody else has their Mercury going on, things going on. It's like we're so bound up in what we think the world is. Sometimes we forget to just be here and be the world. So every planet has light side, the back side, you could say, or dark side, and it has a way of projecting and reflecting. You can use the energy to project out, or you can use it to reflect in. But each planet has a distinct frequency. Mercury, when it can be really restless and hyper and restless, or you can be bored and really slow. Like usually these are things you would see by the stressful aspect patterns that come in. They begin to take away or create a certain type of alertness that's normal for you, but might be a handicap. How many of us live up to our ideas or live up to our potentials? How many people are in touch with, I'm thinking this and we can make it happen? How many are just dreaming? It's not something that we're all doing this. We're all trying to be alert to the moment. But boy, our habits and our memories sure play havoc with who we are in the moment. Most people live in their moon, in their past, in their family, in their home, in their culture, in the way it's always been. So I have to do it this way because mom did it that way, family did it that way. Like, wow, huge thing. How many people really think for themselves, are really alert to life, or alert to the moment. Anything we study, learning and studying, we're taking in new ideas. We're learning to think in different ways, to make different associations, different connections, so we can add a mathematical layer, so we can add an awareness of plants and how to cook and stuff, or so we can add an astrology layer. There's so many, of all the books that have been written, all the things people have said, how many things have you been exposed to? The whole package it's not going to be the same as all the things I've been exposed to. Everybody's going to have a different matrix and of the thoughts accumulated. And these are sitting there in your memory database in a way for your sense of relevance. So our sense of relevance, where we fit in, this means this has happened, so this is going to happen, this is going to go here, this is going to go there. That's our Mercury function going on. Kind of like electricity. We can see what it does, but we don't know what it is. It has its own magical being, but we can see the effects. We can channel it and put wires on it. We can do things, but I mean, the planets are really themselves like that. They're like, you got 10 fingers. Nope. And so if you imagine, suppose you have 10 electrical sockets and you stick your finger into the 10 electrical sockets and you're getting zapped. Either one of two things will happen. You get thrown across a room, or you're going to be stuck there going stuck into the electricity. And just at that moment that you're stuck into the electricity, somebody could come up to you and say, what is it you're feeling? What's happening? And you're going, you just want to turn electricity up, and they're just trying to ask, well, try and explain what's going on. That's like trying to explain what astrology is going on. Each finger is a different planet, and it's got a charge, and all those nervous sensations are coming up to our mind, and it's like overloading. So there's overloading, there's underloading. I mean, the function of Mercury is totally dependent on the nutrition we have in our body and the alertness we have. As soon as we get sluggish, we're not eating right, we're not thinking, we're not living right. Oh, Mercury's already disadvantaged. How do you fix it? How do you change your habits? How do you know what happens to you? You have to think about it. You have to learn. You have to see people who have done it. So usually you have to mess up before you want to fix the mess up. So Mercury is always a puzzle word. It is. You got attention there. You got curiosity there. You're thinking about those things, but in the very thinking of the things, it's the outer form of Mercury. Because you're still inward, it's because you're thinking, but you're thinking, and you're trying to think more to anticipate what's going on with it, rather than just being alert to, okay, that's just there. It's a big gap being alert to the moment of everything happening. Each moment is new when you're alert to it. Then making a connection over a sequence of time, saying this is happening, and then projecting that interpretation into the future, on the moment, on the past. Wow, it gives out totally different signals to people and to oneself. So you can say Mercury is the way you think, but it's really the way you coordinate, how alert you are, and then how functional your brain is, how you're making sense of things, where you think you are in time. If you walked into a city of 3 or 4 million people, how many people would you instantly think that you could get advice for on what you're thinking about? Or how many people do you think would be thinking the same as you? It's all relative. That relativity and the making sense of things, that's Mercury. The making up of time, what I'm going to do tomorrow, I've got my schedule, I got my plan for today, I'm thinking of things, I got this schedule, and I got to do this, I got to do this, got to do first this, then this, then this, and then you wing it. But really, that's Mercury. It's making more fuss than usually is necessary. But in that anticipation, some people are highly functional. In that anticipation, other people would be worried. I mean, the moon worries, but Mercury can worry too. It gets restless, it gets nervous, it's not making associations, things aren't working out the way they should be. Oh my God, what's going on? Can't see clearly. Or nobody's listening to me. So all of these factors are functional interreactions of your Mercury against being alert in the moment. So to be spiritually working your chart, to be in touch with your heart in the moment, the mind has to be quiet and turned in. But it gets so interested, everything is always thinking about this, going every which way, that it's so busy. It interferes with the peace of the moment, which is why so much meditation. First, it's about eating right and living right. Then it's about trying to stop thinking, or trying to slow down your thinking, or trying to get in the moment and not let your mind distract you and pull you this way and that way. It's a whole different concept than the idea of what's IQ. IQ is measured by how much associations, how fast and how quick you can make these connections, not how well you can be alert in the moment. You know, so it's a question of associations and memories. So all of the planets relate to each other. All of the layers interpenetrate each other. There's never not a relationship between just because you don't have a square or a trine or a major aspect does not mean there's not a relationship between your Mercury and your Moon, between your mind and your memories. I like to think there's 360-degree aspects, but they're always related to each other. They're always affecting each other. We are always affecting each other. The only way we notice it is when we run into stress or we run into struggles around it, when it builds up in intensity and it becomes an extreme situation. You build up a worry, you're thinking about somebody negatively and you're building up, you're festering on it and things like that. Boy, it doesn't take long for one little habit to set that off. An extra cup of coffee, you're going too much on it, you're acting on it, a couple of drinks, anything, like just, I mean, in business world, it's the idea of being positive thinking and just projecting, I'm going to sell $1 million worth of stuff this month. Like I'm going to be there. You project it and you try to be positive. Anything negative is putting it down and taking away from it. So that's used to promote business. That's the business use of Mercury out in the world. Be positive, project it, and keep going. But if the positive becomes not so relevant or not so important, you can be positive and be very superficial. So, and lose the sincerity and the depth of communication that can happen between people. There's something really magic when you reach alert to the moment. Two people are standing in the same place. A car comes in and smashes, or something, somebody gets bitten by a dog, or something happens around you. You both see it, you both experience it at the same moment. You experience it. You don't have to say anything. You look at each other and just know this is happening. But